You ever walk away from a conversation and think, why did I agree to that? You said yes, again. You gave your time, again. You let someone shift your priorities, again. And the worst part? You knew it was happening. You knew they were pushing your buttons. You knew they were guilt-tripping you. You knew they were framing things in a way that made you feel small. But in the moment, you froze. You overthought. You caved. And later, you felt weak, frustrated, angry at yourself. If that's you, this video is going to hit hard. Because here's the thing, nobody can manipulate you if you master one skill, just one. And it's not confidence, it's not intelligence, it's not charisma, it's emotional self-control. Look, most people think manipulation is about the other person being powerful. It's not. It's about you being emotionally predictable. And here's what most people don't realize. Manipulation only works when someone can trigger you. Trigger your fear of rejection, trigger your need for approval, trigger your guilt, trigger your insecurity. If they can predict your emotional reaction, they can control your behavior. That's it. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but I'm just a nice person. No, you're not just nice. You're emotionally undisciplined. And I'm not saying that to attack you. I'm saying it because I've been there. Most of us grow up trained to avoid discomfort. We're trained to keep the peace, to not disappoint people, to say yes, to smile even when we're frustrated. And then we wonder why we feel drained all the time. Here's what the research shows. Psychologists studying compliance have found that people are significantly more likely to say yes to requests when they feel socially pressured, even if the request goes against their own interests. In classic social psychology experiments, individuals conformed to group opinions even when the group was clearly wrong. Why? Because the pain of social rejection activates the same regions in the brain as physical pain. Let that sink in. Your brain treats rejection like getting punched. So when someone manipulates you through guilt, pressure, or subtle disapproval, your brain screams, "Avoid the pain," and you comply, not because you're weak, because you're wired. But here's where it gets really interesting. The people who can't be manipulated, they feel that discomfort, and they don't react. They pause. And that pause changes everything. You see, manipulation lives in the gap between stimulus and response. Someone criticizes you, you feel the sting, you defend yourself immediately. Someone pressures you, you feel anxious, you say yes instantly. No gap. No control. But Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived concentration camps and wrote Man's Search for Meaning, said something powerful. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. That space is the skill. And most people have never trained it. Think about it like this. If someone insults you and you explode, they control you. If someone flatters you and you instantly trust them, they control you. If someone threatens to withdraw affection and you panic, they control you. Because your emotions are driving the car. And here's what most self-improvement advice gets wrong. It tells you to be more motivated, to be more confident, to just set boundaries. That's cute. But motivation doesn't protect you from manipulation. Emotional regulation does. Studies in behavioral psychology consistently show that people with higher emotional regulation have stronger decision-making abilities, better long-term outcomes, and lower susceptibility to social pressure. Why? Because they don't react impulsively. They respond intentionally. Now let's talk about why this is so hard. Your brain has two major systems competing for control. The emotional brain, fast, reactive, survival-driven, and the rational brain, slower, logical, deliberate. When someone triggers you, your emotional brain activates first. It's designed for speed, not accuracy. And if you don't consciously slow things down, that emotional brain wins every time. This is why you say yes when you mean no, why you defend yourself when you should stay calm, why you argue when you should disengage. It's not a character flaw. It's untrained emotional discipline. And here's the truth nobody wants to hear. If you can't control your emotions, someone else will. Read that again in your head. If you can't control your emotions, someone else will. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so what do I actually do? Good, let's get practical. Step 1. Stop answering immediately. This sounds simple. It's not. When someone makes a request, don't respond right away. Say, let me think about it. Say, I'll get back to you. Say nothing for a second longer than feels comfortable. That's silence. That's power. Because the manipulator is expecting instant compliance. When you delay, you break their rhythm. You move the decision from emotion to logic. Step 2. Name the emotion. Neuroscience research shows that labeling an emotion reduces its intensity. So when you feel guilt rising, say internally, "This is guilt." When you feel anxiety, "This is anxiety." You create separation. You're no longer inside the emotion, you're observing it. And when you observe something, you're not controlled by it. Step 3. Question the frame. Manipulators frame things strategically. If you cared, you would. Everyone else is doing it. You're being selfish. Here's what most people don't realize. The frame is the trap. When you argue inside their frame, you've already lost. Instead of defending yourself, zoom out. Ask yourself, is this actually my responsibility? Is this aligned with my goals? Would I agree if I didn't feel pressured? That mental reset is huge. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I had a friend who constantly asked for favors. Rides, help with projects, money just until next week. Every time I felt that familiar guilt. He'd say things like, "You're the only one I can count on." Sounds flattering, right? But it was pressure disguised as praise. One day, instead of answering immediately, I paused. I felt the guilt. I named it, and I asked myself, if I didn't feel guilty right now, would I say yes? The answer was no, so I said no. And guess what? He got upset. He tried to escalate. He questioned our friendship. And that's when I realized something powerful. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries will always resist your growth. Let that sink in. When you become harder to manipulate, some relationships change. And that's okay, because your peace is worth more than their convenience. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The ultimate protection against manipulation isn't just emotional control, it's clarity. If you know exactly what you value, what you want, and what you will not tolerate, decisions become easier. Most people are manipulable because they're unclear. Unclear about their standards, unclear about their priorities, unclear about their identity. So when pressure hits, they wobble. But when your standards are clear, pressure bounces off. Imagine trying to push over a building with no foundation versus one anchored deep into the ground. That foundation, that's identity. If you see yourself as someone who respects their time, you won't let people waste it. If you see yourself as someone who keeps promises to themselves, you won't abandon your goals for social approval. If you see yourself as disciplined, you won't be swayed by emotional storms. And this is where discipline enters the picture. Everyone talks about discipline in terms of waking up early, going to the gym, working hard, but the highest form of discipline? Emotional discipline. The ability to stay steady when someone tries to shake you. The ability to stay calm when someone tries to provoke you. The ability to say no without explaining yourself for 10 minutes. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but discomfort is the price of freedom. You cannot be both comfortable and unmanipulable. Choose. Now you might be thinking, but what if I lose people? You will, but here's the better question. What are you losing by staying manipulable? Your time, your energy, your focus, your self-respect. Every time you betray your own priorities to avoid discomfort, you weaken your self-trust. And self-trust is everything, because when you trust yourself, you don't need validation. And when you don't need validation, manipulation has nothing to grab onto. Here's what most people don't realize. Manipulators look for cracks, neediness, insecurity, approval seeking. The less desperate you are for external validation, the less leverage anyone has over you. So build a life you respect. Keep small promises to yourself daily. Go to the gym when you say you will. Finish what you start. Stick to your word. Every kept promise strengthens your internal authority. And when your internal authority is strong, external pressure weakens. This isn't about becoming cold or detached. It's about becoming grounded, calm, centered, unshakable. When someone tries to rush you, you slow down. When someone tries to provoke you, you soften your tone. When someone tries to guilt you, you hold your boundary. That's power, quiet power. And the best part? Once people realize they can't emotionally hook you, they stop trying. Because manipulation only works on reactive minds. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, do one thing differently. Pause before responding. That's it. Build the gap. Feel the discomfort without escaping it. Say no once where you would normally say yes. Hold eye contact a little longer. Let silence do the work. Train that space between stimulus and response, Because once you master that space, nobody can rush you. Nobody can guilt you. Nobody can pressure you. They can try, but they won't control you. And that changes your entire life. So stop blaming manipulative people. Start strengthening your mind. Master your emotions. Clarify your standards. Build your discipline. Because the moment you stop reacting is the moment you become free.